I'm here with David Icke, the new executive producer, showrunner of Falling Skies. Show's going into season 4. We left off with a lot in play. First and foremost, where do our heroes go from here now that their big alliance last season didn't quite work out for them?
Well, this year we're starting the season in many ways inspired by Empire Strikes Back, where the family, as it were, has been divided, sort of violently divided. And I won't reveal yet how they're divided or who's where, but part of this 4th season involves striving and yearning to put the family back together. It's like the Blues Brothers, or put the band back together.
Right.
And that really does inform a lot of the emotion and the drama, but of course it's complicated by the fact that we have a lot of new critters and beasties and threats to our family to make that attempt to have a reunion a little bit more complicated.
I mean, you have a lot of the human characters, but now you have 2 main alien races, and who knows what sort of goes off from there. With Karen dead, do we have sort of a new leader figure rise up for their main enemy, since we've kind of, she's out of the picture, obviously?
Well, one of the things that I think is an opportunity that you have in a 3rd season of a show or a 4th season of a show, once you get deep into the run of a series, is to begin to personify the characters that maybe began as only representational or kind of ideas. So, for example, in the 4th season of Falling Skies, we have Ishveni characters, not just the idea of a looming threat or a dark cloud hanging over our heads, but defined points of view that may not be necessarily as negative or simplistically antagonistic as you might expect.
Because we've met the rebels, but this will be sort of a different, point of view perhaps within the ones they've been fighting.
Those rebels are duly punished for their rebellion,
right?
And manifest themselves in that punishment manifests itself in a way that is pretty horrible and disgusting.
That sounds excellent to me. The Volm, clearly, obviously things went south with them in a big way. Tom worked so hard on that, making that work. What will happen? Is there any sort of breadcrumbs to maybe that they still can work together? How will things play out there?
Well, one of the things we realized at the beginning of the 4th season is that while the Volm are our allies, they have not been as reliable or as dependable as we might have expected. And Tom has to deal with the fact that he may have been a bit rash or a bit impetuous in turning his back on the olive branch that they extended at the end of season 3. That's not to suggest that the Volm have changed sides or that they're in any way a negative force, but they're not exactly as altruistic as they may have appeared.
And now you got Alexis in play, who had some very impressive abilities she manifested. Should we just say, hey, that's great, she can help heal people, or might we have some concerns about what's going on with her?
Well, there's not a lot I can say about Lexi at this point, except to say that she has continued to age, and she is a decidedly complicated character in the 4th season.
What's it like for you to come on to a show? Obviously the show's been on for 3 years, so the characters are established. Is it exciting? Is it daunting? Or a little bit of both to kind of, jump in and take the reins and obviously have some of the plot points set up from last season and then kind of see where you'll take it?
Well, it's certainly a challenge because you want to be honorable and respectful of what's come before. At the same time, I've said, even in a situation where I've helped give birth to a show and been with it from the beginning, by the time you get to this 3rd, 4th season place, you want to shake the cobwebs off. You want to start knocking the crutches out from under the characters and challenging them to find other ways to go about their business. In fact, one of the things that I've said to all the actors in our first meetings is, I'm yanking the rug out from under you. And everything that you may be comfortable with is going to go away, and a lot of things you might not be comfortable with are going to be introduced. And to their credit, they're all terribly enthusiastic to dive into that. They're all really great actors, great craftspeople. They love story as much as they love their characters, and they understand the value in that. So it's a good opportunity, really, for someone to come in and say, okay, I'm going to do some things that maybe surprise you or will surprise the audience, not because I don't love and respect what came before, but because that's what you do in season 4.
And the Harness Kids, that's always been an interesting facet, what they can do, what the limits of their abilities are. Are you going to explore a little bit more about their connections?
Well, I think we're going to find that the idea of the Ishveni weaponizing biology is one that is a constant. It's something they've always done. It's something that they're going to continue to do, but it may not manifest itself in the way that you've come to expect.
Now, you mentioned Empire Strikes Back at the top of the interview. Is, thematically, sort of what are you looking? Is there sort of a, you'd say a theme or sort of an overall, arc that you would say that you're looking to tell with this season?
Yeah, I think that the idea of the moon, the moon that unifies us, that we can all look up at and know that our loved ones, even if we're separated from them, are looking up at the same moon, starts out as something very kind of almost poetic and emotional and unifying, and then slowly over the course of episodes becomes a little more than that. The linchpin, I guess, for the plot device that will deliver a blow to the Ishveni that could be the final one. And that's hopefully something the audience will really get into, because it is a new idea. It's very visual, and the imagery is extremely, I think, it's a great hook, and I think that they'll be satisfied with how it pays off.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. Looking forward to the new season.
Thank you, buddy.